Iceland is a beautiful country defined by its dramatic landscape with volcanoes, geysers, hot springs, lava fields, and more. It's a place that you really have to see to believe. I had the opportunity to visit in September 2022 with my brother.
What? Oh shit, what is happening?
And today I want to rank my top 10 favorite places we got to see in Iceland. This video will be sort of the equivalent to my video ranking all of the national parks in California, but because Iceland doesn't have a national park system the same way the United States does, I tried to pick locations that had multiple highlights. I've only selected a few places with one iconic site that placed on this list. Because of how I'm putting this list together, you won't see popular sites like Seljalandsfoss and Gullfoss on this list, as those locations by themselves don't have much else to see other than a singular, albeit amazing, waterfall. However, I do plan on ranking my top 10 favorite waterfalls I got to see in Iceland at a later date. Just a heads up, if you'd like to learn more about how to access these places and what to know going in, I have a vlog series from Iceland with much more information. Alright, let's dive in. At number 10 is the Gullfoss Nature Reserve. Located at the tail end of Iceland's Golden Circle is an absolutely gorgeous two-tiered waterfall. Now, the Gullfoss Nature Reserve of course encompasses Gullfoss, but aside from that, not much else. These are the kind of spots I said I'd try to limit in this video, but this waterfall is so amazing that it had to be an exception. It was actually the first place we visited in Iceland after our overnight flight, so although we were jet-lagged and tired, the adrenaline we got from Gullfoss was perfect. The total height of this waterfall is just 105 feet, which isn't a ton, but it's the width of this waterfall that really makes it for me. The entire width of the river it sits on basically drops 105 feet is the way I look at it, making it more of a river fall, if you will. There's two different trails beginning at the parking lot. Both are short and will give you vantage points leveled with the waterfall or above the waterfall. So I really liked the different perspectives you can get, and in general, this is a must stop in Iceland due to its visually striking appearance and close proximity to the capital Reykjavik. Number 9, Krielish Geothermal Area. This next spot is located in northern Iceland and was my second favorite spot to see geothermal activity. We'll get to my very favorite later, but this is absolutely worth the visit. Located right at the foot of the Mount Námafjall volcanic mountain, a geothermal field lies with fumaroles, mud pools, steam vents, and a shocking orangey red landscape. I've always been a sucker for geothermal features, and this reminds me a lot of something you'd see in Yellowstone National Park in Wyoming or Lassen Volcanic National Park in California. Like with the last spot Gullfoss, you won't need a ton of time here to really take it in, but it's something you should absolutely do, especially if you are already set on circling the entirety of the Ring Road in Iceland. At number 8, I have the Stulagish Canyon. Now, if you haven't already, I'd highly recommend checking out my vlog from northern Iceland where we visited Stulagish Canyon. There are specific instructions on places to visit while you're here that warrant a spot on this list. Getting to go into the inside of the incredible basalt ravine is something I've never really experienced elsewhere. The clay-like river flowing straight through it as well just makes the spot look completely fictional. To get here, you'll need to travel on a fairly long but well-maintained non-paved road and then turn off onto a slightly rougher non-paved road. I'm guessing it's still this way because it's only been popularized as recently as 2017. Before then, no one really knew about this spot, but it absolutely deserves the recognition it's received. I definitely encourage you to visit and try to find your way into the inside of the canyon. Number 7, Valir National Park. I said earlier that Iceland doesn't really have a complex national park system, which is true, but there are still 3 of them located in the country. Ironically, none of them were able to claim the number 1 spot, but they should still all be visited for sure. Valir National Park is one of those places where I think just knowing the basics of its history will allow you to appreciate it a lot more. It's a fascinating place because of its unusual tectonic and volcanic environment in a rift valley. The continental drift between the North American and Eurasian plates can be clearly seen in the cracks of faults that traverse the region. The consequences of the erosion in the Earth's crust can be seen every which way, making this almost a real-life history exhibit. We took the main hiking trail through the towering rock walls all the way to Öxarárfoss. This is a scenic 36-foot-tall waterfall that flows over one of the rock walls. We didn't spend a ton of time here, which prevents it from going higher, but I was still a huge fan of what I saw. Number 6 is the Halkiattir Geothermal Field. This translates to Hawk Valley in English, and it is my favorite place in Iceland to see geothermal activity. Like with the other geothermal area we talked about, you'll find lots of bubbling mud pools and hot steam vents here, but what pushed it over the edge was its geysers. Here, you'll find multiple geysers, including the massive dormant geyser just called Geyser, and the active Stulagish geyser. We got to see this one erupt several times as it goes off once every 5 to 10 minutes. It reaches an average height of 49 to 66 feet, but it can also climb up to 130 feet if you're lucky. The anticipation of everyone crowded around the geyser awaiting its eruption certainly creates a fun atmosphere. Plus, it was the first time I ever saw a geyser erupt, making it a very special place for me. Number 5 is the Stulagish Canyon. Otherwise known as the Valley of Tears, this canyon is one of Iceland's best off-the-beaten-path locations. It's often overlooked by many since it is quite remote and does require non-paved F-roads to access, but it's worth it. I'm not sure there's another canyon in the world like this one. The walls are lined with small waterfalls flowing into a gorgeous clay-like river at the bottom. You can walk all around it, getting unique vantages, and even hike down to a lower point. I love how authentic this location feels because not only does it require a rough road to access, but there's no fencing around it and always very little crowds as well. It's one of those places that truly defines Iceland in my opinion. It's a great idea to pair this one with another place we'll get to a bit later. Number 4, Dafoss. My favorite waterfall in Iceland and my second favorite of all time is something that is worth the drive to the north part of the country on its own. I was completely shocked by this waterfall and I've never spent more time just staring at one without saying a word. Dafoss has a 144-foot drop and a width of 330 feet, and once again, it looks more like a river fall than a waterfall. It's considered Europe's most powerful waterfall because of its water flow times its fall distance. It flows 96,500 gallons of water per second, which is absolutely insane. There's lots of different trails that take you to different vantage points and even a second smaller waterfall located just upstream called Selfoss. This is another very impressive waterfall given its series of small falls flowing off the rock walls. Dafoss is one of my top recommended destinations anywhere in Iceland. Number 3 is the southern coast, more specifically Reynisfjara Beach and Dyrhólaey. Now these are two separate locations located just a few miles apart, and I'd lump them together because they're both visible from either spot. Reynisfjara Beach is the most famous black sand beach in Iceland with so many impressive features. There is a series of basalt columns located right up against this mountain and jagged rock spires coming out of the water. Dyrhólaey is an observation point where you can view Reynisfjara Beach on one side and my personal favorite, the Endless Black Beach, on the other side. Facing the direction of the Endless Black Beach had to be one of my favorite viewpoints anywhere in the country. There's also some large sea arches to spot here as well. Just a lot of different elements to these spots, which is why they are my must-visit locations on Iceland's southern coast. Number 2, Vatnajkull National Park. This was my favorite national park in Iceland, and as you can see, it nearly claimed the number 1 spot. It's an absolutely massive park in size because it protects the absolutely massive Vatnajkull ice cap. This is the largest ice cap in the country, covering 8% of Iceland's land area, and it's the largest glacier in the world outside of Greenland and Antarctica. People from all over the world come to this national park to view glaciers coming out of the ice cap. Just driving around the park will reveal quite a few, but the one we actually got out to see was the Fjarfjell Glacier. This is amazing because there is a massive lagoon in front of it with icebergs that have broken off the glacier over time. Another place we visited to see amazing icebergs is the famous Diamond Beach. This was actually my favorite black sand beach in Iceland, and I don't think there's another place in the world where you can see something like this. In addition, Vatnajkull National Park has a handful of impressive waterfall hikes, including the one to Svartifoss. This had some beautiful flora with various colors surrounding a waterfall called Hundafoss, as well as the star of the show, Svartifoss, with its black basalt columns. I'd love to come back here in the winter someday and check out some of the ice cave tours they offer, and perhaps that would be enough to elevate Vatnajkull National Park to my number 1 spot. But for now, coming in at the number 1 spot is the Fjarlabak Nature Reserve. Of course, that's its English name. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to pronounce the Icelandic name. But this is the most remote place we've visited in the country because it requires upwards of 1.5 hours on rough F-roads to get to. If you're coming from the north like we did, you'll actually pass right by the Valley of Tears, which is why I say combining these into a day trip is not a bad idea. If you're coming from the west, which is the route we use to exit and head down to the southern coast, there are several river crossings that aren't super deep but can be dangerous if you aren't prepared. Now, a lot of you might know this place as Landmannalagish, which is the name of the starting point for all the hiking trails and facilities such as restrooms, a snack bar, and even a natural hot spring as well. We embarked on the hike to the summit of Bláhnjúkur Mountain, which is a 5.4-mile loop trail. This was strenuous and long, but easily one of my favorite hikes I think I've ever experienced. There were so many elements to this one, including the Golden Mountains, distant ice caps, steam vents, sheep sightings, and a maze through a lava field. Honestly, I had so much fun hiking this trail, and it's the reason the Fjarlabak Nature Reserve was my favorite place in the entire country. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this list and would consider liking this video and subscribing to Travel Dash for more content in the future. Also, let me know in the comments if you've been to Iceland and what your favorite place to visit was. Until next time, I'll see you all very soon. Bye guys.